Okay, so ProjectionBase. This is wild, and a lot of people don't know about this. This is a scan that I've got of a old 9/11 roof. And what you do, so like I said, ProjectionBase can be a mesh, it can be a poly surface, it can be a surface. It's anything that you want to recreate with that existing geometry as the reference. You can't use point clouds, but you can always take a point cloud and you can convert it to a mesh and then use your mesh. So you say, so there's the Autodesk options, or the Autodesk shape options, and you say select your projection base, and then you select whatever it is that you're trying to build. If I go to surface from points, what you'll see is it has a little checkbox here that says use projection base. Pretty cool. And then it'll ask you for your 4 points, and you can just paint 4 points on your surface. Yeah, wild. You can move them around, right? You can sit here and say maybe that you want to bring this back from this blend here at the front. Maybe you want this to be a different surface and this to be a blend surface, right? So, and you can bump the degree up and down to sort of like hit whatever kind of target you need. And so this right now is telling you the deviation from the reference in terms of millimeters. So you can make a really good informed decision about how many degrees you need to approximate your geometry. And yeah, and you can just sit there and dial it up and down until you get what you want, move this stuff around. So this one, curves from points, works best when when the patch that you're trying to make is fairly square, right? You want it to be pretty square. Now you can always, let's see here, you can always just like take this and use the VSR symmetry tool from here, yada yada if you want. But really, so that's like step one is to use this surface from points. But okay, let's say you want to have more control over your edges. Like what would you do? Because you don't have that much control with surface from points over the shape of your edges, and they tend to be very straight in between the corners. So let's dial this in with more control. So if I just create a curve from my origin and I project this curve onto my mesh, I get this. Now I'm like mapping out where I think the edge of my surface is. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to mimic this curve of this right here. So I'm going to say single and I'm going to say Y and Z, and we'll bring this back. And let's, oh, funny, what happened with you there? There you go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So Y and Z, there we go. So we want to mimic this curve, which we just did, something like that. And then we can say project. And then here at the back, and I like to always like sort of underbuild these and then go back later and just edit them so that they meet the edges. Because if you get too close to the edges, sometimes it'll do funky things. It'll try to pick up the features of the edge, and you don't want it to do that. So again, just taking this, I'm just matching this curve right here. I project this. Nope, huh. Did that do it? Yeah, it did it. Okay, great. Oh, no, project. There we go. Awesome. Now I will do something like this, but what I'll do is I will give it a little bit of a curve to it. So I think that we want it to, let's do this. Aha, let's blow this up. Nope, not that, but this. Awesome. And I can say row, and I can bring it this, nope. I can say X and Z. Right. I can do this to it. Something like that. Maybe a little bit. Right, so what I'm doing right now is really just like dialing in really exactly where I think that my edge should be. Just looking at the intersection of that. That looks pretty good, just for demonstration's sake. So I'll just project this onto here. Awesome. So now I have 4 edges here, and my projection base is still the same as it was. And so I can say now surface from curves, use projection base. And notice that you don't even have to trim your input curves. So you can sit here, just like before, and dial up how many degrees you want to hit whatever kind of a target you want for your deviation, because this is, 1 millimeter, pretty good. Super powerful. And then you can take this, you can mirror it, right? So you can enforce symmetry there. Really, really powerful way. Now let's say this is a really cool trick that Jason Fear and I found. One thing you might notice here in control point modeling, control point modeling also has use projection base. And so if you want to really bump up the adherence, like if you want to minimize the deviation between your surface and your projection base, here is a ridiculous trick that we figured out. You basically give this thing more geometry. So I'm going to use insert not, automatic, toggle, automatic. So now I've got like 7 points in each direction. Use projection base, grab this. When I click this, it's going to recompute every single vert to snap it onto that laser scan mesh. Crazy. And maybe you want it even closer. You can run insert not again. Once again, boom. It just, boom goes the dynamite. It snaps it right onto your laser scan mesh. If I run point deviation, let's see what we get. Yeah, it's almost entirely less than 0.2 millimeters. I mean, and so fast, right? So you can really you can decide if you want something that's like really low point count and really high quality, or if you want something that's maybe a higher point count and adheres better to your input surface. But just crazy, crazy powerful. You can then turn off projection base, so the ends here to overbuild this stuff. We're just going to use our extrapolate tool, right? So I can still edit all this stuff if I want, right? I can boop, 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 move all this stuff around. And anytime I want, you can re-snap it with the projection base. Incredibly powerful. Amazing reverse engineering tool. Nobody seems to even know about it.